All right, everybody, welcome to the video for lesson number 3 on area and circumference of a circle. So there are two formulas that you really need to know about the area and circumference of a circle, both of which are usually going to be provided for you, so you don't have to worry about memorizing them. So let's take a look at this first question. This was actually a Regents question. I showed it to you in class, but we never actually did it. So it says a circle has a radius of 5 and it was divided into 24 congruent sectors. The sectors were then rearranged shown below. It says find the value of x to the nearest integer. So to find the value of x, if you look, one of the things that we notice is x represents half of the arcs of half of the sectors. So if we take just half of these sectors, essentially x represents half the circumference. So if I find the circumference of this circle, which is 2 pi d, I know that the circumference of a circle is going to become 10 pi. Now, if x represents half of the circumference, I know that x is equal then to 5 pi. Now, that would be our answer if it was in exact form or in terms of pi, but this wants us to nearest integer. So if I do 5 pi, that comes out to be 15.7, which rounds to 16. Number 2 says a circular garden has a radius of 6 feet. How many bags of topsoil must be purchased to cover the garden if one bag covers 3 square feet? So since we're covering the garden, we're talking about area. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. The radius is 6. It tells us that right in the problem. So we can say A is equal to pi times 6 squared, or area is equal to 36 pi. Now that's the total area, and I want to figure out how many of these 3 square foot bags I can fit into that 36 pi. So to find the number of bags, I'm going to take the total area, 36 pi, and divide it by 3, because 3 is how much it takes to make a single bag. So since it takes 3 square feet per bag, if I divide those two numbers, remember in your calculator, just use parentheses whenever you think you need it. So this comes out to be approximately 37.699 bags. So 37 bags won't be quite enough because that wouldn't completely fill. So I need 38 bags. The last question, which is probably the most difficult of all the questions in the homework here, gives us this weird shape. So it says a shape is being designed such that it's a combination of an isosceles triangle with a semicircle whose diameter is the base of this triangle. The isosceles triangle has legs that are both 10 inches and the vertex is 40 degrees. Determine the area of the semicircle to the nearest tenth. So to find the area of the semicircle, we need to find the area of the full circle and cut it in half. Well, to find the area of the circle, I need to know the radius. Well, if I take my isosceles triangle and I draw in this altitude, it's going to cut this angle of 40 in half because isosceles triangles have that special feature. Now, if I make this segment the radius of the circle, because it would be halfway, I can find the length of the radius using Sohcahtoa. So if I use Sohcahtoa, I notice I want to know the opposite side, and I already know the hypotenuse, so I'm going to use sine. So I'm going to say the sine of 20 is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse side. Multiply both sides by 10. And the radius is going to become 10 sine of 20. And if I type that in my calculator, I'm going to get an answer. I'm just going to round it pretty much 3 or 4 decimal places past whatever I want to round to. So if I do 10 sine of 20, I wind up getting a radius of 3.420. Then it says to find the area of a semicircle to the nearest tenth. So the area of the full circle is equal to pi times this radius that we just found squared. So if I find the area of the circle, it's going to be pi times this 3.4202 squared, which is 36.7496. Again, not my answer yet, so I don't want to round yet. And then the area of the semicircle is equal to this area we just found divided by 2. So if I just hit in my calculator divide by 2 and round that to the nearest tenth, it comes out to be 18.4. That's my answer. A question like number 3 is great because it tests you on 2 different things. Do you know how to find the area of the circle? Do you know how to determine the measurement of half of the base of an isosceles triangle and only given an angle on some of the sides? So this is like a perfect like part 2, 3, or 4 question on a test or quiz. Hopefully this video helped. Make sure you keep reviewing your notes. Remember, you have a test, or not a test, sorry, a quiz on Friday. All right, so just keep up with that, and I will see you all tomorrow.